Hello. We continue with the last chapter, chapter 18 of the Bhagavad Gita, symbolic of day number 18 of the 18 days in which Krishna is teaching Arjuna. Hello, Jeff. And it's a pretty big chapter. Lots of wisdom comes together here. And here, a lot of this, hello Nilesh, a lot of this in this chapter here is talking about the implications of the three gunas and cultivating sattva guna. And so here we go. Verse 10, where we left off. A relinquisher possessed of mental essence, endowed with intuitive wisdom, with his doubts dispelled, neither hates the unhappy deed nor is drawn to the happy act. Pretty neutral, huh? Guten Morgen, Hashim. Hello, Johnny. Bhagavad Gita. Verse 11, chapter 18. It is not at all possible for a body bearer to abandon acts in their entirety. He, however, who relinquishes the fruits of actions is said to be the relinquisher. So even the most ascetic of the renunciates cannot abandon everything, is the point. The fruit of action is threefold: undesirable, desirable, and mixed. Such fruit accrues after death to those who do not relinquish. But to the renunciates there is none. Let's see who I got here. I left Johnny on there. Hi, Teria. We're hearing the end. This is the crescendo. Nothing else. We got it all figured out. Hi, all. Hi, Anjan. Here it is. We've got it all coming together here. Those aspirants who are endowed with the qualities of sattva, this is Swami Rama speaking, who are free from all doubts, do not withdraw themselves from the disagreeable work and do not become attached to pleasant work. For them, duty is duty, and they perform their duties with an even mind. I'll note here for all the rest of us who may not have 100% perfection, isn't it true that as we progress in sadhana, we gradually note some degrees of this coming? It may not be absolute, but we experience it coming in degrees. For them, duty is duty, and they perform their duties with an even mind. It is not possible for the ordinary human being to abstain from his duties, for he carries his samskaras from his previous lives. He has those latent tendencies within himself that create his duties, and sooner or later they have to be performed. There is no choice but to perform one's duty, but one can choose to renounce the fruits of his actions. The aspirants who do not relinquish the fruits of their actions receive those fruits, but they are uncertain as to what they will be. Some fruits are agreeable, some are unpleasant, and some are mixed. Those who perform their actions selflessly and skillfully, dedicating all the fruits of their actions, remain unaffected here and hereafter. And let me see, a little more activity showing up here. Let's see, and there is Roseanne. Hi, Roseanne. Hi, Scott. Hi, Raj. And we have a Matri with us, taking her vacation right now in the Houston airport. And then Raz again says, hello, everyone. Learn these 5 causes from me, O mighty armed one, taught in Sankhya, where all actions end, for the fulfillment of all actions. The substratum, the agent of action and instrumentality of different kinds, separate motions of various kinds, and the rulership of the deities as the fifth. The actions that a human initiates with the body, speech, and mind, whether just or its opposite, these five are its causes. According to Sankhya philosophy and science, when an aspirant performs action from a state of equilibrium, it is accomplished without any obstacle. Sankhya explains that 5 factors are necessary for accomplishing an action. First, the doer of actions needs a field for his actions and a dwelling place called adhisthana. The second important factor is the performer of action who dwells within the field. He should be skilled in the performance. The third factor is the means and the instruments of various kinds that are used by the performer. To attain the desired fruit, it is necessary to have health and appropriate means. The fourth factor is effort. For if a concentrated effort is not made, the desire to accomplish something is wasted. The undertaking should be well planned and effort should be applied skillfully. The fifth factor is favorable circumstance. Good actions performed in past lives gives one the opportunity to be reborn in a family, environment, and country that offer favorable circumstances. See what we got here. Oops, saw something move there, but didn't. Some people think that a favorable circumstance is the result of luck, but luck is not a non-human factor. It is not partiality shown toward any one particular individual by a supreme being. A favorable circumstance is self-created. The Bhagavad Gita gives this as the last factor. Human endeavor, sincerity, and effort are the principal virtues, and favorable circumstances follow accordingly. Luck is the joy obtained after one's task has been performed successfully, with skill and selflessness. Luck is within the domain of the individual and not in the hands of providence. Those who are not aware of the actions they have done in the past to bring about their present good circumstances call it luck and attribute it to chance or to providence. This being the reality, he who sees only the self as the agent because he has not cultivated his wisdom, such a dull wit does not see. He who does not have the sentiment produced by the thought I, whose intelligence is not defiled, even upon killing these beings, he neither kills nor is bound. Here he's talking to Krishna about the battle of life that's in front of him. Samkhya philosophy and science declares that 5 factors are important for accomplishing an act: place, agent, means, effort, and circumstance. Those who do not understand this truth are inflated with pride. They think that they are the doers. Such people are ignorant and unwise. False pride feeds the ego, which creates the last obstruction in the path of self-realization. In fact, all the negative emotions feed the ego, creating a serious barrier that separates a person from the whole. The aspirant who does not have a feeling of egoism, the aspirant who does not have a feeling of egoism who has completely surrendered himself, his deeds, and the fruits of his actions to his single goal, the Supreme Lord, is not considered to be an evildoer, even if he kills someone in the battlefield, because he has profound knowledge of life, love, and equality, and his actions are completely dedicated to the Lord. He is free from the I-ness of his ego and is a representative of the Lord. He has no intention to injure, hurt, harm, or kill anyone. While protecting the boundaries of their country, soldiers fight for their national cause and kill intruders, yet they are not considered to be killers and murderers. When one who is selfless kills someone while performing his duty, his mind remains unstained, and he is not bound by the law of karma, for he has gone beyond the bonds of individuality and remains one with the Lord. There we go. We got a free from Roseanne. Free. One is free. Very true. Of course, this should not promote fanaticism. Those who are narrow-minded sometimes become religious fanatics and think that they can misuse the scriptural injunction for their own selfish convenience. The yogi who practices ahimsa with mind, action, and speech never dreams of killing anyone. The question here is whether Arjuna should retire or fight the battle of life. When Arjuna, a hero and leader of a nation, becomes despondent and shrinks from his duty in the battlefield, Sri Krishna teaches him not to resign, but to fight, for it is the battle of life in which all human beings are participants. All aspirants are fighters. To attain the highest goal, one needs courage, strength, and zeal to fight. That is the true meaning of these verses. Isn't it true that sometimes in our own lives it can get very, very crazy? And we just ride through the storm and keep on going, right? Knowledge, the object of knowledge, and the knower. This is the threefold source of impelling the action. The instrument, act, and the agent. This is the threefold gathering of action. The knowledge, action, and doer are said to be of three types through the distinction of gunas, as it is taught in the way of discriminating gunas correctly. Hear of these also. To live in the world, these three are needed: the object of knowledge, the knower, and the instrument. Actions cannot be performed without these three essentials. One must have profound knowledge of them for the accomplishment of any work. Each of these is again divided according to the gunas. We have a Joe waving his hand. Hi, Joe. That whereby one sees a single immutable aspect in all beings, undivided in the divided, know that to be the sattvic knowledge. Reflect on that carefully, because this is what you and I want to cultivate. That whereby one sees a single immutable aspect in all beings, undivided in the divided. Know that to be the sattvic knowledge. And we can do that, can we not? We can see all of the people around us every day. Some we like and love, and some we don't like very much at all or dislike. Very, very different, wide range of people. But we have the ability, we're yogis, we have the ability to see the one life force, the one consciousness coming outward. It is the undivided. that is within the apparently divided. That's what that means. We can do that, right? And that is the sattvic knowledge, and we can cultivate that. When one knows the knowledge and all the separate kinds of aspects, each divided separately amongst all beings, know that to be rajasic knowledge. So we can see the difference going on in different people. We can see that too. When we see the difference, that's the rajasic knowledge. When we see the unity behind the diversity, that's the sattvic knowledge. That which is attached to a single effect as though it were the entire, without proper reasoning, devoid of essential meaning and reality, and narrow in scope, is said to be tamasic. I see my people, my friends, my community, and I'm fixated on that. I don't see the unity in the diversity, and this is the tamas. I just saw somebody said. Hi, Joe. And Matri says, doing it right now, seeing the unity and diversity in all the people in the airport. Yes, it's a good place to experiment with that, isn't it? Yes. Knowledge is of a threefold nature, Swami Rama adds. Aspirants who have cultivated sattva know that the self, capital S self, is not subject to change, death, or decomposition. Such aspirants have gone beyond the limitations of ignorance and have acquired the knowledge of the whole. Even if you and I feel like we don't yet have the ability to see the Atman, the self, in literally every human being, is it not true that we can see existence itself? Satchidananda, Sat is existence itself. There is a life, even if it's a person I don't like. There is life there in front of me. Every person that Matri looks at the airport, regardless of what her inner automatic response will be to that particular person, she can see life in every one of those human beings. There is existence of life itself. And so we can do that. Such aspirants have gone beyond the limitations of ignorance, partially or completely, and have acquired the knowledge of the whole, some degree of knowledge of the whole. And we could all do it. If we were all sitting in the Houston airport, God forbid, we would all be able to do it too. Right, Mom? Because they have profound knowledge of the whole, they do not suffer from limited and divided vision. For them, death and birth are not occasions for either sadness or joy, pleasure or pain. The knowledge that prompts one to see the single whole as many has a rajasic quality. There is another kind of knowledge, tamasic, that does not even recognize multiplicity. It only sees and reacts to what is immediately beneficial. Think of the people in the airport or community or on the street or in your job, your place of employment. Notice how easy it is to contract against all of them, those other people, and stay totally within our own close-knit little group. And if we do that, we are not seeing the multiplicity and we are not seeing the unity that is in that diversity. So this gives us a model, a way to know what's happening in our own mind. They are engrossed in sensual pleasures and act impulsively. Such people treat a part as the whole. When you're in the airport and you walk by a line of people standing in front of a restaurant or in front of a place selling any product or the coffee shop, you see a long line of people that you can watch it in the body language. You can see everybody is focused only on somebody called me, a very narrow focus, not seeing the whole. Such people treat a part as the whole. Selfishness blinds their vision and they remain in the darkness of ignorance. We, of course, would never fall for that trap, would we? Or do we have moments where we move between these three gunas? Seems to be what happens. An act performed devoid of attachment and without attraction and aversion by one desiring no fruit is called sattvic. That act, however, which is performed by one desirous of fruit and possessed with ego, with much exertion of many kinds, that is called rajasic. Sound familiar? We all know how to do it, don't we? Without foreseeing the result, loss, violence, or capacity, the act that is initiated out of delusion is called tamasic. So in our airport metaphor, out of the tamas, we're so hungry we go eat some really crappy something or other. We just don't see. Partially indeed, it's one moving field of vrittis while looking at a form and contemplating, seeing that at the core is Atman. Yes, that's the key, isn't it? I had a chance, Jeff said, I had a chance to witness the last weekend while refereeing, while a coach was yelling at me because I threw him out of the game. I was shocked by the calmness I felt, and I even identified with our similarities at many levels. That's a fun story, Jeff. Thank you. Mom. Yeah, we already looked at that. Seeing the unity and diversity at the people at the airport. That was an old comment. All actions are divided into three classes. Sattvic actions are those that are performed selflessly, the fruits being dedicated and offered to the Lord. All yoga practices, including physical exercise, pranayama, and meditation, are considered to be sattvic actions. Prayers, chanting, and charity done selflessly are sattvic in nature. Actions that are not performed with non-attachment, but with desire for self-gratification are rajasic. Such actions are performed with great strain and are enveloped by selfish and egotistical desires. You and I may not remember exactly every point that we're reading about the three gunas, but we can, right in the middle of life, see when all of a sudden I'm doing something with attachment, and it can remind us. We say, well, let's see what's going on. This does not seem sattvic. Which is it? And you say, you think about it for a moment. You say, seems rajasic to me. So we don't have to memorize every one of these examples that are given here by Krishna in the text, because there's quite a few of them. There's more to come.
I have a question.
Joe,
isn't any action that you identify with by this definition of rajasic?
Kind of sounds like, doesn't it?
Because
what you just said is exactly the point I'm trying to make. You ponder the thing, and it comes up, and you answer your own question. You say, well, it seems rajasic to me. That's the principle. That's how we live it.
If you think you're the doer of the action, then whether you feel good about it or calm, you're still attached to the fruits of the action.
Yeah, sounds right. Actions that are not performed with non-attachment but with desire for self-gratification are rajasic. Such actions are performed with great strain and are enveloped by selfish and egotistical desires. That way of being leads one to be chronically anxious and tense. The majority of people in modern society suffer under the strain of actions motivated by rajas. If modern therapy were to concentrate on helping one develop a sattvic way of being, many of the physical disorders and much of the psychological stress that we see would be eliminated.
It would be out of business.
It'd be out of business. Tamasa, we better keep some rajas around just to keep everybody in business.
Keep the thing going.
Tamasic actions are those undertaken without regard for the consequences. The tamasic person stumbles along, reacting to the moment without regard to the havoc he creates as a result of his capacities or limitations. He may think that he is capable of much more than he really is, and thus injures himself and others. Or he may believe that he is incapable and thus become inert and fail to act. Although such people are unpredictable, one can accurately predict that the result of their actions will be disastrous. Sounds pretty bleak, doesn't it? Let's see, we got here another little note, I think, here. Oh, saw that. Liberated from attachment, not uttering I, endowed with the power to sustain and enthuse, unaffected in fulfillment or failure, such an actor is said to be sattvic. Attached, desirous of the fruit of action, greedy, inclined to violence, impure, possessed by exhilaration and depression, such an actor is said to be rajasic. Not joined in yoga, unrefined, unbending, a rogue, harming others, lazy, always depressed, a procrastinator, such an actor is said to be tamasic. One who is endowed, Swami Rama says, one who is endowed with the sattvic quality is free, there you go, Roseanne, free from the attachment and egoism. He is courageous and enthusiastic. With even-mindedness, he functions and does his duty. He maintains equilibrium all the time. He is neither inflated by success nor depressed by failure. A man of equilibrium is an example for society. For society needs something more concrete than the teachings of the scriptures. Such people are great assets. By contrast, people who are endowed with a rajasic nature are active and work selflessly for sense gratification. They are greedy people and are harmful to society. Somebody else is coming. Must be a rojo, huh? Is that a rojo? It's a rojo. Dressed in red. They are greedy people and are harmful to society, for they believe in possessing and hoarding. They readily experience fluctuations of joy and sorrow in their daily lives. They have no control of the mind and senses. Their desires are selfish. Such people do everything for the sake of selfish ends. Those who are tamasic do not have any concern for the existence of others. They are inactive, lazy, and hurt and harm others. To obtain sensual joy, they will commit any heinous crime. They are the worst examples in society. After describing three kinds of performers of action, Sri Krishna distinguishes between three types of intelligence, buddhi, and three types of resolution or firmness, driti. Among the four main instruments of antakarana, buddhi is the discriminative, judging, and deciding faculty through which the light of knowledge comes forward. It is through buddhi that one discriminates and understands, judges, and makes decisions before he performs actions. There are three kinds of buddhi. The buddhi that helps one to discriminate, judge, and decide, to know right from wrong, and to understand what is to be feared and what is not to be feared, is called sattvic buddhi. Sattvic buddhi leads the aspirant inward and helps him to fathom the subtler and higher realms of life. Without any distraction, the pure reason of buddhi becomes penetrative and fathoms those levels of life that normally remain unknown to ordinary human beings. The higher or sattvic buddhi has the following characteristics. 1, the power of discrimination is developed. 2, the buddhi that has learned to discriminate between self and not self, between supreme self and its unmanifest state and its power of manifestation, possesses the power of non-attachment. 3, such a buddhi has one-pointedness and inwardness. 4, it has attained calmness, quietness, and steadiness. It remains serene, undisturbed, and undissipated. 5, it is free from the desire for sense gratification. 6, it helps one to decide right from wrong and to act in a timely manner. It makes one selfless and giving without any expectations. 8, it helps one to remain tranquil and even in all conditions. Tranquil and even in all conditions. 9, it helps one to remain a witness. 10, it leads one to spiritual heights. And isn't it true that when we go through those 10 ideas, some of them you recognize some of your ability in every one of them? I think that's probably true. Maybe not perfection, but some degree, all of them. Now, here, the threefold division of intelligence and sustenance by their gunas, being taught in entirety and separately, O Arjuna. Ordinance and prohibition, what ought to be done or not to be done. Dangerous and non-dangerous, bondage and liberation. The intelligence that knows these, O son of Pritha, is the sattvic one. That by which one knows incorrectly virtue and vice, what ought to be done or not to be done, O son of Pritha, is rajasic. So there's knowing, but it's not perfect. It's off track a little bit. That intelligence which, covered by darkness, believes vice to be virtue and all of the matters opposite of their reality, O son of Pritha, is tamasic. Still making decisions, but tamasic. The buddhi that is of a rajasic quality is incapable of helping one distinguish that which is the righteous path from that which is not. It is unable to discriminate between the real and the unreal. However, the rajasic buddhi is important for gaining external knowledge. Mechanical and scientific knowledge, knowledge of business, and knowledge relating to any aspect of the external world is a result of rajasic buddhi. It is not possible for anyone to function in the external world without it. People of a tamasic nature are ignorant and remain engrossed in sense enjoyment. They act as a manner opposite and contrary to the sattvic buddhi. Tamasic knowledge leads one to sullenness, sloth, and inertia. The aspirant should not forget that the three gunas always function together in human life. And 2 examples come to mind. A couple of days ago, I had a sprinkler head in the yard of the house break. Now, I'm not real good handyman like that, but I was able to use my not sattvic buddhi to figure out how to fix and repair the thing. Matri has been telling me all the repairs and all the work she's been doing on the new little ashram in Holland. This does not require sattvic buddhi, it requires rajasic buddhi, the intelligence and the care to fix all the things and to make the furniture and do all of that stuff. So it's important. It's not that everything we do is always sattvic. We don't just sit around all day long and playfully said, be spiritual. Maybe Joe does, huh? Yeah, he's nodding, but he doesn't mean it. That's his sattvic.
I mean it as much as you.
Yeah, sense of humor. We should have humor. The aspirant should not forget that the three gunas always function together in human life. The difference between one person and another is the relative strength of each quality. The most important factor is which quality is predominant. If sattva is predominant, life becomes peaceful, joyful, and delightful, and you can still repair things around the house. If rajas is predominant, one becomes active and hyper, prone to restlessness, and may suffer from psychosomatic and psychological illnesses. If tamas is predominant, everything in life becomes negative and passive. Then one does not experience any happiness or joy. The predominance of one or another of these three qualities is clearly noticed in human behavior. Those who have gone beyond the three gunas, who have realized the self, capital S self, and who remain in a state of samadhi are rarely seen. They do exist in our world, but they are 1 in 100 million. Pretty small percentage, isn't it? Those great ones guide humanity in a subtle and profound way.
That seems too concentrated.
Huh?
Seems too concentrated.
Emanating their love and knowledge through their minds, actions, speech. Seems like not quite that many, huh?
No, there's more than 100 million people in a city sometimes.
I don't know of any city with 100 million people. I don't know of one.
Well, maybe
but that in 1 billion people, that's 10 people, and 8 billion people on the planet is 8 times 10 would be 80 people in the world of that category at that rate. I don't know if that's true or not.
This is highly optimistic.
Seems to be so, doesn't it?
I would say less than 50.
80 people is a lot.
That undeviating steadfastness, driti, which sustains activities of mind, prana, and senses through yoga, is, O Prita, a sattvic one. That by which one sustains virtue, desire, and worldly success, desiring fruits incidentally in the context. That steadfastness, driti, is rajasic. That by which someone devoid of intuitive wisdom does not give up sleep, fear, grief, or depression, that steadfastness, driti, O son of Prita, is tamasic. So steadfastness is important to have, but it's important to have it, most important to have it be sattvic.
I have a question when it says to not give up sleep. What is meant by that to me? The sattvic and rajasic types are I give up sleep.
Which section was it? Which verse?
35, where it says
that by which someone devoted does not give up sleep. Loves to have an abundance of sleep.
Sleeps all day.
It's just an abundance of sleep. So somebody is sleeping 10 hours a day and will not give up some of it, thinking I really need to sleep that much.
I describe somebody who's depressed.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of goes together, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Says there, and it actually says it in the verse, will not give up sleep and depression. In addition to intelligence and knowledge, did I do this? Driti, firmness or steadiness, is necessary on the path to infinity. There are aspirants who have knowledge, who know what to do and what not to do, but who lack the inner strength to be steady and firm in doing their practices. Some aspirants are very steady and firm, but do not have profound knowledge of spirituality. In the path to self-realization, sattvic buddhi and sattvic firmness are equally important. The way it is used here, the word driti, has a meaning more profound than that which is usually attributed to it. It is that inner strength which does not dawn all of a sudden, but which is attained only after long spiritual practice under the guidance of an accomplished yogi. Human effort, sincerity, and honesty lead the aspirant to attain that power. For lack of that power, the yogi cannot reach the highest realm of spiritual knowledge. I should look over here if I'm missing any comments here. No, I'm not. The comments are being a little quiet there. Driti enables one to have a one-pointed mind, and it helps one maintain coordination between the mind and the vital breath and pranic energy. It is a method of applying sushumna, which is important for attaining spiritual knowledge and a state of tranquility. For all inner and external distractions are controlled by sushumna application. Those who systematically learn the method of meditation know that after attaining physical stillness and steadiness, irregularity of the breath continues to disturb the mind. Mental unrest can also disrupt the breath. Breath and mind are two inseparable friends who work together until the last breath of life. In an in-depth study of the breath has not been undertaken by modern scientists, but the yogis know the subtle function of breath and are aware that irregular breathing agitates the mind and vice versa. When the breath is calm and serene, when it has no jerks and no long pauses, it does not distract the mind, but creates feelings of intense joy and steadiness. The state in which both mind and breath function in a balanced way is established by driti. Driti is that which brings mind and breath to a state of balance. It is the power that helps them to work together in a serene way. If one is not able to regulate his mind and breath in a perfectly coordinated way, his meditation will not bear the desired fruit, samadhi, no matter how many hours he practices meditation. When one's posture is comfortable, still, and steady, and when the mind is focused on the bridge between the nostrils, then sushumna is applied. Prior to the application of sushumna, the practice of even breathing, alternate nostril breathing, and inner and outer retention of the breath should be perfected. These exercises should be practiced only under the guidance of a yogi, not just with instructions from books and manuals. Rojo, could you do me a little favor? Give me some water. Thank you. Firmness or determination is of three kinds: sattvic, rajasic, and tamasic. It is sattvic when it is able to direct the power of mind, senses, and breath to bring about balance, and when the mind and breath mutually help one in a coordinated way. It is sattvic when Rojo gives me some water. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Sattvic water.
Mm-hmm. It is sattvic when used for spiritual attainment and selfless actions. When used for selfish desires or self-enjoyment, it is rajasic. Rajas endowed driti prompts one to perform actions or religious acts with a desire to enjoy the fruits of those actions. Tamasic driti produces excessive and long hours of sleep with numerous and disturbing dreams. It also creates fears, makes one timid and sorrowful, and leads one to cry without valid reason. It makes one arrogant and self-conceited. The firmness of tamasic people is expressed in obstinacy and conceit. Psychotherapists encounter tamasic driti in the passive-aggressive personality, in clients who show willful resistance and negativity, and in those who tenaciously hold on to their symptomatic behaviors, despite their superficial pleas that their therapist rid them of such behaviors.
That never happens.
Never happens, says Rojo. If the therapist can help such clients to use that firmness in the context of Rajas and Sattva, that force which is being used in a negative way can serve a positive and useful function. It is not to be eliminated, but rather to be redirected so that it becomes an instrument to help one achieve positive goals. Very useful point, isn't it? All righty, one more little sip here. Now hear from me the three kinds of happiness in which one delights through practice and definitely finds the end of sorrow. That which initially is like poison, but is in effect like elixir, that happiness is called sattvic, born of the pleasantness of one's intelligence. That which appears initially like elixir through the union of senses and their objects, but in effect is like a poison, that happiness is considered rajasic. That happiness which both initially and in the end results, deludes oneself, arising from sleep, laziness, and inattention, that is said to be tamasic. And there goes Rojo crashing on the couch.
Tamasic?
But now she's getting up. Now she's going back down.
She's hunkering down.
These verses describe three kinds of joy. When first encountered, the highest joy seems like a poison, or at least a bitter medicine to those who are used to the gross worldly pleasure. But when one becomes familiar with its subtle qualities, that joy becomes a nectar, a joy so subtle that it cannot even be imagined by one who has tasted only worldly pleasures. It is said, a bitter pill has a blessed effect, and such is the case with sattvic joy. What is joy? That which makes one happy, that which is not disturbing or painful is joy. The whole of mankind and all creatures of this universe are searching for perennial joy. They seem to find a bit of it in relating to different objects of the world. But alas, those joys soon diminish for two reasons. The object of joy changes, and the enjoyer's concept of joy also changes. Nothing is permanent in the mundane and temporal world. Creatures other than human beings are controlled by nature. But human beings have a will of their own and a power unique in itself that helps them to continue in search of the imperishable, unfettered joy. When one becomes tired of the fleeting joys of the mundane world, he looks and searches within, in his inner world, which he has never tried to know and understand. In the inner world, there is a fountain that ultimately quenches the thirst of those seekers who genuinely search for it. If the seeker gets the opportunity and learns the way of fathoming all the levels of life, he will find that there is a source and that there are profound ways to go to that source from which flows perennially the joy divine. Discontent is seen on the face of everyone. No one seems to be happy and joyous, even if they have all the desired objects of the world. But the day comes when one awakens to the reality that searching in the external world is in vain. that only the search within is rewarding and satisfying. Then one begins following the path of the inward journey. The Bhagavad Gita says that when the individual self finds delight and joy in the self, capital S self, that is the highest of all joys. It is called love without an object, meditation without form, love without desire, and meditation without an obstacle. That is sattva endowed joy. Such joy is born only after the serenity of self-knowledge, capital S, is attained. All the pleasure experienced by the senses is but momentary, and it is also the source of pain. But the profound joy that is attained by self-realization is permanent and everlasting, for the self knows no pain, no misery, and no worry. The joy experienced by rajas-endowed people arises from the contact of the senses with the objects of the world. It is relished like nectar in the beginning, but it is like poison in the end. Tamasic pleasure deludes the human mind in both the beginning and the end. It springs from the ignorance of sleep, laziness, and negligence. Wake up, Rojo.
I'm listening and I'm floating in the bliss of
You're
love.
floating in the bliss of love, laying on the couch. Yeah, don't drown. Why don't we pause here? Okay. Good place to stop. This is so loaded a chapter. It just keeps going at the three gunas over and over and over, every time from a slightly different perspective. But it's pretty rich stuff, isn't it?
Are we gonna continue next week?
We are going to continue. We're going to continue in a few days. I have to look at the schedule again. When are we going to continue? A few days. Today is what?
Wednesday.
Today is Wednesday.
No, today's Tuesday.
No, today's Tuesday. That's right. Don't get me confused about the day of the week, Joe. So I think it comes on Friday or Saturday that we do it again. Anyway, to be continued. The cliffhanger is that there is no essence in the earth, in heaven, or even among the gods that may be free of these nature-born gunas. Nothing is free from the gunas. Very useful principle in all of the stuff we do, talking about cultivating self-awareness. Cultivating the self-awareness of the play of the gunas in ourselves is extremely, extremely useful. Let's see, did I miss any comment here? No, still everybody's being, no, I missed it. I forgot to roll up there.
I have a question.
Joe has a question.
If one kind of observes himself not to succumb to tamas or rajas, does it automatically comes out?
They seem to go together, don't they? Because there's always an interplay between them. There's always an interplay. And if we're experiencing the negative side of tamas and we drop the negative side of tamas, then the positive, for lack of a better word, comes forward. And remember, even tamas has a positive quality because that's the thing that gives us stability. If we have rajas, but we don't have tamas, we don't have stability, we're just racing around. If we think we have sattva, but we don't have any tamas to give the counterbalance to stay grounded. In our common language, we say a person's not grounded. We can be real flighty and just sort of wispy and airy and just, not grounded. But they work together. So I think your observation, the way you said it, is accurate. That we reduce the negative aspects of tamas and rajas, and it allows space for the sattva to be more dominant. So
then sattva in a more balanced way is not like, commonly you think. It's like, like too calm. It's more like it's energized by rajas and it's stabilized or grounded by
Yes.
tamas.
Yes. Hi, Mir. Well, thank you all for playing. I'm going to hang out a little bit. I think maybe we should take a vote here. What do y'all think? You think I should go to the airport and pick up Ma Tree?
No, let her walk.
Let her walk, huh?
Yeah, probably needs to walk.
Probably needs to walk after all
She
that
needs to
sitting.
exercise.
It's only, what, 10, 12 miles? She'll
She'll
be
be here by the meditation time.
She'll be here by 6 o'clock in the morning meditation time.
Maybe faster. She's got long.
I don't think I'm going to do that. I think we'll go. I think.
Pick her up.
Uh-huh.
How'd she go pick her up?
I guess I'll go to the airport and pick her up.
What time is her flight?
9 something.
Oh.
I have to look again. I do have it. Don't worry, Ma. I will be there.
She's not on the airplane yet.
No, I don't think so. She was here with us a little while ago, but she hasn't typed anything in a while, but she may have had to bail out.
Oh.
I don't see her there. Are you gonna get her? Yeah, are you gonna get her? I'm a gonna get her. I guess I'll have to use a little Rajas though, huh? I could just sit here and just sit in the meditation room. It's all sattvic, blissed out, and then she'll just have to be teleported here.
Yeah.
Or I'll use the tamasic heavy vehicle and the power of Rajas to make it move.
Yeah.
And drive to the airport. Oh, how unspiritual is that? Drive to the airport and get her.
It's not natural.
Oh, she said she had to board. Thank you, Jeff. I did not see that note. Huh. Thank you. Now we're sitting here making humor of her and she's not even sitting here to hear it. Anyway, so now I have to go get her. Anyway, thank you all for playing. It's quite a journey to go through this together, isn't it? Arjuna is getting the idea. He's getting the wisdom. And so our journey with Bhagavad Gita will continue. Thank you for playing, and have a wonderful meditation. And remember, what we're looking for is to be found in the silence that is after the Om. Do you ever get tired of me saying that? The silence after the Om. Have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful meditation. Okay? Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Rojo says bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.
Joe says bye. Bye. Good company, huh? Good company, huh, Johnny? Yeah. I'm going to push the button, Roseanne. Here we go. Okay, so see you tomorrow or in a few days. Okay, bye-bye.